Welcome to Franchise Mode. We get into a little bit of college football today. Before I even start that, make sure you all are subscribing, liking, and sharing. If you listen to our Apple podcast, if you're on YouTube, Spotify, make sure you're following and subscribing to Franchise Mode and the M&R Network on all social medias. Thank you. Now, I have my guest, Alec Elijah, coming on today. Fire guest, one of my favorite guys. He's a college football expert to me. He has more scouting in the college football community of anyone that I know that's around my age group. Love what he does. Hope we all can bring you a fun episode and keep tuning in if you want to keep supporting Franchise Mode.
All right, I told you I had another special guest on. We've been ready to do some college football for the longest time. Really excited for season to come back. So I got my guy Alec Elijah from Sports Talk with Alec Elijah. So shout out my guy Alex for coming on. How you doing, Alec?
I'm doing all right, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, football season is around the corner, so I'm feeling real happy about that.
Rapidly approaching. I can't wait. We got 4 more weeks till college football, till NFL. We're good. I've been fiending for some football.
Literally, like this break has been crazy. Like it's felt long this year.
Yeah, no, this has definitely felt. I don't know if it's because of everything that's transpired in the off season, whether it's NFL or college football, but yeah, no, it's felt pretty long, to be honest with you. But I think it's just because so many things are changing with the game now, just the way we view it, the way, players are going to certain places. I mean, the game's changing for the good, to be honest. I mean, especially because we just have so much to talk about now that it's the off season.
Yeah, it's made our jobs as content or journalists easier. Like it gives you, like you said, it gives you way more to talk about. We're gonna start off straight, literally with your team. Like we got the Sooners, OU. We know everything that transpired with that, and then we have Texas supposed to be moving to the SEC in 2025. That was probably, I say, one of the biggest moves of the offseason. What was just your take on that happening?
A lot of people have misconceptions about it. I mean, personally, I do as well. I mean, that's going to be with any move for teams going from one division to a next. As far as, Texas and OU moving to the SEC, I think it's going to do a lot good for college football, just because it's going to open up a lot of opportunities for smaller market teams. These teams that have been in the shadows a lot, I feel are going to get a lot more recognition. And, we're going to see, just like we've seen OU and SEC, sign this deal to go over to the SEC in 2025, correct?
Yeah, 2025.
We're going to see a lot of smaller teams, try to branch into, the Big 12. We got moves in the Pac as well. We're going to see teams try to get into the Pac. I really like it. Teams are like, oh, well, there's already enough teams in the SEC. Some of those teams are eventually going to get moved. I mean, if we look at, just some of the teams that are in the SEC, I mean, you can easily move a team like, Missouri.
Vanderbilt's probably out of there.
Vanderbilt,
baseball good, but besides the baseball.
We'll see how Kentucky does this season, but Kentucky could also be one of those teams that's, eventually on the move. Like I said, it's going to open up a lot of opportunities. A lot of moving parts are still in the works right now. I like it. As an OU guy, I like that we're going to be able to see a lot more, a lot better competition. I will, no disrespect to any of the guys in the Big 12 or anything, but everybody knows, when you're in the SEC, that's the cream of the crop. You're playing Bama, Georgia, Clemson. You're doing all this, and you have to be on all 10 toes, to be honest with you. As a whole team, you have to have everybody ready to rock and roll. You have to be rolling on all cylinders, and I really do hope that Texas and OU is ready for this move. I mean, I get that it's, a couple years away, but it's going to come fast. It's going to come very fast. And I really do hope that these teams are going to be ready for these, cream of the crop competitions.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, SEC is the NFL conference. At least, that's what everyone, even scouts, that's how they look at that conference. That's what it is. It's also the money conference. Like, yes. I mean, not that the Big 12 isn't the money conference as well, because technically with all the sports, the Big 12's revenue is top dog.
Yes.
But with football specifically, since it's a college football show, that was a pretty big move. One, you said with the competition level. Two, with getting more revenue, and probably with getting even better recruits now, because you can say you're in the SEC. And I think OU is looking in, of course, Texas, or Texas has been a struggling program, but we're seeing kind of something change with Texas. They got number one quarterback recruit for, what is that, 2023, which is Arch.
Yep.
You had the number one recruit from the 2021 and 2022 class, Quinn Ewers. He's there already. They're getting a lot of 5-star, 4-star recruits.
The 5-star prospects for Texas right now, it's honestly pretty crazy to see, because if you go back and you look at their, last season and the season prior, I mean, basically up to maybe Xavier Worthy, it's a lot of 3-star recruits, minimal 4s. But I mean,
they were falling off.
I was looking at Athlon Sports magazine this morning, just preparing for the show. These guys have about 6 5-star recruits, ready to go. I mean, of course they're linemen, but that's what you want. You want, 5-star guys that are going to protect your quarterback. We look at Ohio State, for example. Their entire lineman is, 5-star recruits, 4 stars.
That's what Dion has said about Jackson State. He was like, HBCUs don't have the 5-star linemen. We have the 5-star skill position players, but where it gets real is when your trenches are all athletes.
And I think that's a big reason why, Dion did go on record and say, I don't want to play Alabama this year, but if you give me a season or 2 to prepare, and what I think he means by preparation is, get the right guys, because Alabama's trenches are insane every year. Alabama, Ohio. I mean, we just seen what Georgia did last year in the trenches.
Good God.
So those are teams that, Dion's right. You do have to have the right personnel to, go into war with teams like that. And not even just with the teams alone. I mean, you're ready to go to war with Nick Saban. Like, that's, a college football god at this point. So, I mean, he's right. HBCUs do suffer a little bit in the trenches. Skill-wise, skill players, they come a dime a dozen. You can find them almost anywhere. It's just up for them to get the right looks, right scouts to get in there, which is what I like with what Dion's doing with the HBCUs and stuff like that. But, I feel like within a season or 2, we are going to see a lot more, 4 5-star prospects head over to the SWAC, head over to HBCUs. And, Dion said, if you give him a year or 2, he'll have the right preparation. I mean, if we just look at his skill position, if we look at his skill positions that he's already had, they could compete with Alabama. I'm going to go on record and say that they really could, with the preparation that Deion Sanders gives his players, game in and game out, outside of the field as well. He mentally prepares them. I mean, if he can get some trench warriors in there, they'll be ready to compete for sure.
So were you shocked as me when Arch chose Texas? I'm just gonna be real. I didn't think he was going to Texas. That wasn't my pick.
I was a little shocked. I'm not gonna lie. I really did think he was gonna choose a Manning alma mater. I was really, really keen on him going to Ole Miss, especially with Lane Kiffin being there.
Literally.
But like I said, Texas, they're bringing talent to their campus. I mean, if we just look at the sophomore wide receivers they have right now, I'm not too sure if Arch is even going to be able to play with them. I mean, Quinn will for sure. But, they got guys like Xavier Worthy, a G Hall. I mean, you look at names like that. Those are names that are going to shoot up boards this season if they choose to go into the draft, because they're both only sophomores. So, I mean, Xavier Worthy, for sure, he can make a case for himself. A G Hall, I think, might need another season. But like I said, with the 5-star recruits that are coming in, I mean, even after they got Arch, guys were already flipping to Texas. They were like, no, I want to go play with a Manning. I get it. I get it. I completely understand, But at the same time, I watch Arch's film and I'm like, well, it looks like he's playing JV teams. Like, is he really going to be prepared for Texas like that? I understand that he's a Manning. I understand that he has certain skill sets that, are just God-given because he's a Manning. But at the same time, with Texas moving into the SEC, that's going to be a huge competition gap from what he was used to. You're going to play teams that, they look like, borderline JV teams.
And he's going to sit probably 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, he'll sit a year because Quinn's going to get his year off regardless.
If he's going to start. He's not going to take the job from Quinn. Quinn was also the number 1 recruit as well. So
I think Quinn might get a year or 2. We'll see.
Yeah.
For sure he has a year locked in. There's no doubt in my mind. We'll see if, how good that year is, because some guys are like, well, that's my tape right there. Like, that's what I want to go into the league with, which is okay, because if you put out a stellar tape, scouts are going to be like, yeah, this is the guy right here.
Yeah.
But I mean, even looking at guys like, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, like, they had hell of a seasons, and yet they're still coming back for another one so they can cap off what they did. So I really do think Quinn will probably get a year or 2. We'll see how it goes. I know Arch is going to be waiting for sure in the wings, no matter what. I mean, I was
It's
a
a
little
crazy
shocked.
QB room, though. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
no, for sure.
Crazy for
to have
college.
to have two, number one picks at a college that everyone looked at was just dying.
Dead in the water, like
Yeah,
literally
dead in the water, really.
Since Vince Young, they really haven't had a QB that was like, I mean, maybe Colt McCoy, but like Colt was never like, no one ever took it that seriously. It's like first round.
Because even Ellinger, guys were high on Ellinger, and it's like, what's Ellinger doing now? He's back up to the Colts, right? That's what he's.
Yeah,
that's what he's doing. So, we'll see. Like I said, I mean, like you said, it's a loaded quarterback room. I know there's only two of them, but that only opens up the door for more opportunities, more prospects to come. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go ahead and land some guys in the transfer portal when Arch Manning takes over. I would not be surprised if, some top wide receiver prospects say, hey.
If I'm a wide receiver, worst case scenario, the scouts are just going to look at Arch. So they're going to see you. You're automatically, like, no matter what the season turns out to be, I'm going to probably get more looks here than if I'm unless you're like a Bama or one of those type of schools. If you're not one of those type of schools, like same look we see what Jordan Addison did. It's like, I was really good with Pittsburgh, but now I'm going to go with my guy
USC,
Caleb and Lincoln and LA and USC and NIL is hitting like, and that too, like Quinn might stay another year now because he's getting like $3 million in NIL, dude. Like he's getting paid. Like it's not he's NFL getting paid. Money.
He got paid before he took a snap.
That was a W.
That's insane. Like, salute to Quinn, but it is insane to see that, he's already collecting $1 million checks and hasn't even played a snap yet for Texas.
Yeah, so so I want you to go more into that about the NIL thing. Just what's your opinion on name, image, likeness? So basically athletes being able to get paid from scholarships, cameos, anything like that. They can get paid from that type of stuff.
I mean, look, I'm going to put it this way. Anytime that you can help a young man change his family's life, because at the end of the day, we don't know what these players really go through the same way, nobody knows what every journalist goes through. For all we know, some of these players, they really are coming from the gutter. So, seeing an NIL deal for $500,000, $1 million, that can genuinely change their family's life. And, I'm all for it. I know a lot of people are like, it's bad for the game. That's old head mentality. It really is old head mentality. I mean, that's just, I'm going to go on record and say that. I get it, because some schools, we look at Bama, we look at Ohio. The boosters are crazy. Boosters, alumni, they're all supporting A&M as well. They were one of those schools this season that just opened up the checkbook. So, I mean, it'll be, like I said, it'll be crazy to see what it does for the future. I think right now it's doing very good for the game. I mean, at least in the players' perspective, I think it helps them out a lot. And I mean, it shuts down this forbidden door that everybody was, we all knew college players were getting paid. We've had veterans from the league go out and say, I've had bags of money from in a McDonald's bag. I can't remember who said that, but somebody said they have like 100,000 in a McDonald's bag. So it's like, we've already known that this is happening. Might as well bring it to light and just include everybody in it.
And like, I love the NIL one because, like you said, we're bringing all the dirty stuff of college football. It's legal now. And it was never like a quote unquote like bad thing. Like it was illegal, but it was almost like, like how marijuana was illegal. Like it wasn't actually doing anything that hurt anyone, but because it was illegal, it was kind of painted in a negative light. So I love that. Like, come on, we see the College Football Hall of Fame is like hoeing Reggie Bush right now. Like it's all because of what? A money scandal like this. Like they took the Heisman away, the Hall of Fame now. He can't go back in certain TV clips. Like no one wants to see that. Like that's like our childhood like hero.
Because that's bad for the game right there. Like,
it's bad for the game.
You're basically shunning. I mean, look, Reggie Bush was probably one of the first running backs that I got to see with my own eyes.
You're like our first guy. Like literally.
Like I didn't get to see AP. I didn't, I didn't get to see LT. I didn't get to see guys like that. But I got to see, guys like Reggie Bush completely tear up a football field. And it's like, we're shunning him now. We're shunning one of the best running backs that we've, that our generation, the last of the 90s babies, that was our guy right there. That's our AP, that's our LT. Like we got to see that all from the ground up, from USC to the Saints. We got to see all of that. So, I mean, it does suck that guys like that are getting shunned out of, the Hall of Fame. getting shunned. You know, even from their own campus. Like he barely made amends, I think, with USC not too long ago. And the fact that, you know, all this NIL stuff, you know, comes to light now, and they're still like, no, we're good. We're not going to be giving you your Heisman back. It's ludicrous, to be honest with you. I mean, that's a hard-earned Heisman. He didn't test for PEDs. He didn't do any substance enhancers, anything of the sorts. All he did was have his story come to the light. I mean, if we go back and we, you know, have everyone be openly honest about how much money they received, you know, prior to 2020, there's going to be a lot of players that, you know, we wouldn't even think were receiving bags, but they were. I mean, I'm looking at guys like at OU. I'm like, dude, how does CeeDee Lamb have what did he have? A Super Sport Camaro with 2 Bulldogs. I'm like, really? You really want me to think
I don't think he come from that type of bread.
No money. Like, I understand, you know, like, no disrespect. I know some of these guys come from excellent homes, you know.
Yeah.
Respect. But at the same time, it's like, dude, you're 18. How are you buying a $200,000? Like, there's guys pulling up in Uruses. Like, what? It's crazy to see, but I'm just glad that it's in the light now. Like,
I'm glad
that we pull back the curtain. Yeah,
like I'm definitely a player. I mean, everyone that has their team or whatever, but I'm still player empowerment over anything, because at the end of the day, that's where, at least at this point in life, where I stand, like where I fit, where people I know what they're doing, they're on that side of the playing field. It's like, I know how it feels to be on a college campus. You don't have a damn dollar. Like, literally, like, you're just like, okay, if that dining hall, that campus Chick-fil-A is closed, like, I mean,
noodles.
Sleep.
Yeah, it's
sleep or noodles.
Eating sleep or noodles. Like, and that's the thing too, is like, this NIL deal, it not only helps, you know, certain players, but, you know, there's genuine people that will receive money and they're going to go out and help other folks. I mean, we've seen, you know, guys like Malik Willis. I'm sure he had a nice NIL deal too. And he's helping out the community right away. I mean, that's what you want to see, especially from players like that, you know, with the whole player empowerment and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's helping them grow up a lot earlier. It's helping them get ready for the league, because as we've seen, you know, we've seen a lot of people. I don't know if you watch or if you're familiar with How I Spent My First $1 million on Complex, but a lot of athletes go on there. And I think it was Justin Jefferson was the one that went on there, and he gave the best advice. He said, with everything that's going on, you know, all the money that's flowing around, the best thing and first thing you should do is get a financial advisor. And I feel like that's what opens up a lot of possibilities, because we don't want to see players, you know, start making all this money and then unfortunately just hit rock bottom. That's the last thing that we want to see. So it shows them how to manage money. It shows them how to deal with these lump sums that they're going to receive later on in the league. Although it is, you know, some people might look at it as excessive. I mean, we look at Quinn, he got $3 million just for going to Texas.
That's not our money, though. Why do I care? I don't.
But at the same time, I mean, I look at it this way. These are the guys that are putting their body on the field so we can watch them. The owners, the coaches, none of them are going on the field putting their body on the line, because anything can happen on the playing field at the end of the day, as we've seen, you know, in recent history, in the past as well. Anything can happen. So if you're able to take care of your family now, why not do it now? Why have to wait, you know, 2-3 years? You're struggling on a college campus, you know, just trying to get your name out there, trying to get your film out there. Do it now. I mean, like I said, like even you said, you know, I'm all for player empowerment. I'm all for helping everybody out.
Yeah, definitely. So, before we end this one segment, I just definitely want to end off on that point. Like, I'm definitely a big player empowerment guy. Some of the deals I think I laughed at them. I think they're crazy. I'm like, I can't believe that they did this. This happened. But at the end of the day, like, it's always this isn't even my money. Like, I'm not pocket watching no man, no woman.
And that's the thing. That's the thing too. Like, I feel like a lot of this old head thought is just a lot of pocket watching. Like
who cares?
Who cares? Like, I understand you're a fan of the team, but you're not a part of boosters. You're not, you know, you're not an alumni, you know, player for you to be having a say so and who gets signed for what. Like, it's not your money at the end of the day. If these campuses want to pay this player for his skill set, so be it. So be it. He worked hard at the end of the day to get to where he's at. So if they want to open up a checkbook, by all means,